Today, we're diving deep into the future of commerce, technology, and retail with an industry leader who sits at the intersection of innovation and entrepreneurship, Jessica Williams, the head of brand and partnerships at Shopify. If you've ever purchased brands like Skims by Kim Kardashian or Gymshark, you've already interacted with Shopify, the second largest e-commerce platform in the world, just behind Amazon. Shopify is the engine behind thousands of brands, from household names to emerging startups, helping businesses scale at unprecedented rate.
We have this incredible mass of small businesses that have niche products that people want. And right now, unless you're doing really wonderful targeting on TikTok Shop or Instagram, it's hard to get into people's feeds to sort of see a new business.
Jessica brings over 2 decades of experience in marketing, e-commerce, and partnerships, spanning powerhouse brands like Visa, Coinbase, and now Shopify. She's been at the forefront of major shifts in retail, whether it's the rise of social commerce, AI-powered shopping assistants, or the reinvention of brick-and-mortar experiences. In this conversation, we'll explore how technology is shaping retail, the explosive growth of TikTok Shop, Instagram commerce, and AI-driven personalization, and most importantly, how Shopify is empowering entrepreneurs worldwide.
Anyone can be an entrepreneur with the right tools. So that is what we're all dedicated to here.
Whether you're an aspiring business owner, a seasoned retailer, or just fascinated by how tech and commerce collide, this episode is packed with insights you don't want to miss. So let's get into it. Jessica, thank you so much for being a great friend. I appreciate it. You're seriously a leader, and it's such a pleasure to have you on this episode of Some Future Day. Jessica Williams, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining me on Some Future Day. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me. So lovely to be here.
This is really an exciting conversation for me. As you know, retail has been a big part of my life, not just as a avid shopper, but also as a marketer who exists in the retail and fashion space. So it's really great to see you. I'm really looking forward to getting into it with you today. But let's start with your background. I know that you too have a ton of experience as it relates to fashion, lifestyle, retail, and beyond. Tell everybody a little bit about your background and where you come from.
Sure. Well, I've been in marketing, 20 plus years now. I started in marketing measurement, like way back in the day when social platforms were first starting, and spent quite a few years at Visa in a number of different roles. That's sort of like my foray into big brand marketing. I started in their marketing measurement department, and then did a lot of rollout across product marketing, e-commerce marketing back when Visa Checkout was a thing, and then ended in their partnerships and sponsorships department, really focused on large partnerships like Uber and Airbnb, along with the sponsorships, FIFA, NFL, the Olympics, and others. I then red pilled into Web3 for a couple of years. Started when I was at Visa, given their role in building blockchain technology and just thinking about the future of how money moves over blockchain. Went to Coinbase for about 3 years and led their partnerships team. Really focused on the intersection of Web3 and fashion, sports, technology, music. I feel like we were a little ahead of our time there. Some of the things that we dreamed up at the time are just now coming to fruition, but it was both a lovely time in crypto and a very tough time in crypto. Started in like the highs of the bull market and left in the depths of the bear. So happy to see you coming back, but really just learned a lot there around working for founder-led brands at the forefront of technology, leading the way, and really focused on, a core mission and vision, which is what led me to Shopify. I run the brand and partnerships team here, which encompasses quite a few things, but mostly what we're focused on is inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs to think about entrepreneurship. So, growing the category of business building and entrepreneurship, but then also to love Shopify and think about us as, their right hand, chief of staff, best friend, marketing manager as they're building their business. Shopify does all of those things. And it's been great. I've been here about a year and a half. I love the mission. I truly love working for founder led brands. And I do think we're on the forefront of the next wave of commerce and technology.
Yeah, Shopify really is on the forefront, but it's clear to me that your career has been on the forefront of fashion and marketing. So I can't let you jump away from your history just yet because it's really compelling. Like, for example, on the Visa vertical, Visa is an old trusted brand and, obviously at the center of so many transactions. But you highlighted a couple of partnerships on the sponsorship side that are best in class, like FIFA. I'm curious, do sponsorships like that, in your opinion, still matter?
Yes. Yes, I'm the biggest advocate of partnerships and sponsorships when they make sense for the business. Look, Visa does them better than anyone because they've built these relationships over the course of 20 plus years, but also because there is a huge ROI for Visa. Visa is the only card accepted at the Olympics, meaning that you cannot pay with cash or with a MasterCard. You
Wow.
have to have a Visa card. So they have sort of like reverse ATMs where you can put cash in and get a Visa card back, but everything's going over the rails. So this is like big business for them. For some of the other things, like Visa getting into new categories, when you think about Visa, I think sports comes to mind, just given all of the partnerships there. But while I was there, we also started a New York Fashion Week partnership. I saw that they just rolled out some new advertisements during the Oscars the other night, like really thinking about the way that people associate the Visa brand. It's got 100% awareness in the US.
Amazing.
But, thinking about how you're choosing which card you use, oftentimes it's because of loyalty and, what's coming with that. But if you're Gen Z, sort of moving into the world of credit cards and you're thinking about what you want, you do have a choice. And if Visa is there supporting the gaming industry, they're supporting the fashion industry, they're supporting the arts industry and the film industry, you're going to think about Visa a little different than if you didn't have those partnerships and you didn't see them in those spaces supporting your favorite designers or your favorite filmmakers. It really does like present an authenticity and a connection that you would not otherwise get without the partnerships.
It's interesting when you talk about Gen Z because, like every generation, but even more so with Gen Z, they are so tied into the digital realm. Everything they're doing is digital these days, from academia to socialization to listening to music and watching films. So, as you transition through your career and you have that big moment in time, that 3 year block with Coinbase, do you think that the Gen Z population now, or the Gen Z shopper, is ready or fully understands the value proposition in using cryptocurrency and digital assets versus credit cards?
No, absolutely not. But I do think that physical cash could go away and no one would know the difference. Like, I don't think Gen Z or even me like touches cash anymore. I pay my dog walkers through Venmo. I pay my, bills through credit card. I pay, ACH is like a dying business, but still there for some. But I do think, you know, a lot of the Coinbase marketing that I think was so well done, and this was after I left, but Kate Rao, who led the marketing team there before she went to OpenAI, is a brilliant creative brain, and, the agencies that they had supporting them. It was all about showing just how backwards our financial system is today, how long it takes to send a wire transfer, how long it takes to get your money after you've sold a stock, like how long it takes to move money. And crypto is instant. And I think that will be the thing that really helps, not just for folks that are here sending money back home to other countries, but really thinking about I don't want to pay fees for sending my money places, and I want to be able to pay the way I want to pay. And like crypto is just another very transparent, very fast way. So I do think those commercials that launched over the last year or so that really hone in on fees and speed are the most interesting part about crypto.
All right, so let's bring it back to Shopify, our original goal. You articulated Shopify's mission, but I'm curious from your perspective, how has the mission evolved? I know that when I first learned about Shopify, I was like, wow, this is a real convenient utility. And you highlighted a couple of the features just now, but it's so much bigger than just a convenient utility. It's so much more for than, a tool for entrepreneurs who are starting off. What has happened to the mission of Shopify today?
Well, the mission for Shopify is different, a little bit different than for my team personally, but it really is for all of us. Like, if you don't wake up thinking about this, like, and Toby will know, and you will be gone. This is what he breathes and lives every day. But it's really to make commerce better for everyone, and to empower, individuals and businesses to achieve this independence by simplifying the processes that it would take to really running and growing the business. And that is honestly like mission from day one and rings true still today. Now the tools have changed and some of the barriers have changed, and the places that we need to make those connections to make commerce easier, but it really is just to make commerce better for everyone and to grow really this idea of like, anyone can be an entrepreneur with the right tools. So that is what we're all dedicated to here. Everyone from, our deepest ML and AI engineers all the way to, us on the brand marketing team to try to sell that story to the world. But, the tools have grown exponentially over the years, whether it's mobile or analytics or AI assistants or the plugins that we have. I know we'll probably talk about it later, but we are the back end to all of the social commerce that's happening, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok Shop.
Oh, absolutely.
That all is fueled by Shopify. So it
I
really
didn't realize that.
becomes, yeah, we're the second largest commerce platform in the world by a long shot, second only to Amazon. And I don't think that many people know it because unless you've got that purple shop pay button on there, which everyone does know, then, it's really about the brands that we're helping to build.
So let's talk about that for a second. If we look at the nexus between the brand and the consumer, you're focused on the entire ecosystem, right? Shopify isn't just thinking about how to make the experience better for the brands, but also how to enhance the experience for the user, for the consumer. So starting with the consumer, because we are all consumers, everybody listening to this show right now is certainly purchasing product.
Yeah.
What is going on with regards to shopping? How will Shopify enhance the shopping experience for consumers, let's say over the next short term, 12 to 18 months, but then what do you see evolving in the next 2, 3 years?
Yeah. It is everything that we're building is both useful to the consumer as well as to the merchant. But I think our biggest play in the consumer world, well, a couple of things. One, Shop app, which I'm sure all of you have on your phone, even if you don't know it, is that purple app that many use to track their packages. But it is also an interface for consumer shopping. And we are very much focused on making that the best platform to surface up maybe businesses you've never heard of, but have products that you're looking for, and really make that a personalized experience within the app. For a long time, it's on 100 million phones in the world.
100 million.
Yeah, and we just
Wow.
launched, I think, in 4 or 5 new countries, and it's an
Wow.
amazing marketing tool for merchants, because of the exposure that it has on consumer, devices, but it's also an amazing shopping experience if, it's tailored the right way and you're using it the right way. We also have a internal currency called Shop Cash that comes as a result of, marketing plans that we make with specific merchants that, become a real tool for consumers to get exposed to your business, and perhaps get, a discount on something that might otherwise, be out of their price range. So that's the first one. I think the second one is truly the Shop Pay button. We got some research back recently that even when it isn't used for checkout, Shop Pay converts at like 10% better for every merchant that has the Shop Pay button on their website because it is such
Wow.
a no, like well known sort of safety factor for people. Oh, if it's got the button, I know I'm on a Shopify site and I know that I'm going to be, I can trust this merchant. I'm going to get my goods. I'm going to be able to track my package. So
No
that
trust.
particularly is such a good consumer facing tool, but also a tool for merchants. And then I think the other one is we have this incredible um, just mass of small businesses that have niche products that people want. And right now, unless, they're, and all of them do, unless you're doing really wonderful targeting on TikTok Shop or Instagram, it's hard to get into people's feeds to sort of see a new business. But even if this person really wants this. And so what we are working on is a bit more of functionality around being able to search within the Shopify ecosystem for a business you're looking for or being served up a merchant that you might not know about, but because we know, about your shopping behavior, like we think you will like this. So a little more on the personalization side within the Shopify ecosystem, which I think will be a major benefit to consumers.
So that's amazing. Those are like so many attributes that frankly I'm aware of them, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize that uh, Shopify was boosting them. Um, on the merchant side, on the retail, on the brand side, tell me what kind of benefits you're bringing to that side of the equation.
I mean,
I know you hit on some of them just now. I
yeah.
don't want to
I
make
mean,
you
that
repeat
really
yourself,
is
but is it?
like the bread and
Yeah.
butter of the business. It's what everyone here is focused on. I think the big ones are, AI assistants in the same way that, creatives have so many tools at their fingertips now to support them as they, think about mood boarding and, building out creative ideas. Like Shopify is also that. So product descriptions, background images, anything that you can think about that a small business owner might not have access to in the same way an enterprise does with photo shoots or, a product marketing team. We want to be that for them. And so the tools under this umbrella called Magic are really just exponentially growing every day to make entrepreneurship easier. And that really is from like day one, you are starting a business and you're starting from square one. How can we make it so much easier for you? And, a lot of this stuff is fairly simple, but makes it so much easier to get the shop up, to advance your shop, to make better product descriptions that will surface better in SEO. Like we think about all of the back end stuff that you would need in order to really grow this business exponentially. That includes things like taxes, international shipping. We make all of those things so much easier right within the platform versus having to use all of these separate plugins. And then, of course, the Shopify ecosystem is massive. And so many businesses are built with Shopify in mind. Everything from like SMS, messaging to align to your CRM plan, to international shipping. We get the best rates for merchants to you want to grow the B2B side of your business. We have that all inclusive of the admin that you get with Shopify so that you can grow your wholesale business alongside your consumer facing business.
So let's talk about that for a minute, the admin piece of it specifically, because what you're talking about, it seems like there's just such a plethora of amazing and innovative utility. You're talking about AI, you're talking about content creation, you're talking about data analytics. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Incredible. But how do I learn how to use all of it? How do I operate it? How do I take advantage of it really as a customer of Shopify?
I mean, it's really a step change in like if you are a day one entrepreneur, we're not going to put all of these things in front of you. It is really like choose a theme, choose a plan. Do you have a product to sell? And again, like Shopify is used for businesses that have 5,000 SKUs all the way to, Harley was just on stage with Kat Cole from Athletic Greens at NRF not too long ago. And, I mean, Athletic Greens is a $1 billion business with one SKU. You could just buy
Wow.
one thing. So, it is really truly from a day one entrepreneur where we're really just stepping you into how do I use this platform the best of my ability to sell my one product? And we have a ton that are just really in that like, under 1 million a year revenue, but growing a business alongside maybe a content creation business or a drop shipping business, or, they've just moved over from Etsy or eBay where it was sort of like a niche business and now they're ready to scale. It really is for everyone. We've got a massive enterprise business where enterprises are realizing that their legacy commerce platforms aren't going to keep up with the technology that is, arising every day, but Shopify will. And so they're making the move over to Shopify as well. So it really is like a fully flexible platform that can grow with you from day one entrepreneur all the way to enterprise.
So I know you mentioned Athletic Greens, but is it possible to point to a few North Stars as far as brands go that are really using or showcasing all of these attributes that Shopify offers? Or are there two or three websites that you could point to and say, like, check it out? These are really, really great examples of Shopify full throttle.
Yeah. I mean, the businesses that we always point to as like, here's day one businesses that have grown with Shopify. Skims is a great example. Gymshark is a great example. I mean, the founder of Gymshark was one of our original build a business owners back in the day when we did this
Wow.
competition. They built Gymshark, submitted it to Shopify for this build a business, won the competition, and now $1 billion business, with one of the largest real life events. They do these gym events and hundreds of thousands of people go. I mean, it is a wild, wild business, but that is the North Star for us as far as like, here's what's possible with the tools
I
that
bet
come with
Skims and
Shopify.
Gymshark are incredible.
Denim Tears is another one that uses sort of the flexibility of the creative tools that we have on Shopify. They use a technology that we call headless, so they really are able to build their own creative system on top of the Shopify technology. You don't have to just build into the themes that we have. Like you can bring your own creative system to the platform, and they have an incredibly creative team. It's a massive sort of cultural streetwear business, but their website is amazing and truly like a work of art. So another good one as far as like the flexibility of the technology. And then there's hundreds of others. My friends run a business called Eastside Golf. It started as a, small culture-based brand, is now growing exponentially. They are shipping internationally now, and that was a big hardship for them. They didn't wanna pay, the large international shipping fees. It was gonna cut into their margins, but found a really flexible opportunity with Shopify where they can now ship internationally to, a number of countries and still keep the margins that they had using our, international shipping prices. They're also using the B2B platform, so they just started selling into Dick's, and a couple of other, like, wholesalers, and they can use our B2B side of the platform to do so.
How does that work? Are you saying the B2B platform allows for emerging brands to sell like big retailers like Dick's? Is that how they found each other?
They didn't find each other through the platform, but what it allows them to do is take their inventory from the warehouses in the same way that they're pulling inventory from the consumer side of the business. They can have people order from that same, whether it's the same inventory or separate inventory, but it works the same way as the consumer platform. A wholesaler can go in there, order their goods from the Shopify platform.
Oh, wow.
Then we bill them in the same way that you would get a checkout page, and they can check out right there on the platform, and then it ships in the same way, so that it is a truly like all-in-one commerce platform, and you don't have to have a separate B2B business where you're doing things the old-fashioned way where, someone has to like log into a legacy B2B platform. You then have to send them a bill. They are sending you some sort of like wire transfer, ACH. It's really done in the same way that we would do any sort of consumer facing interaction on the sales side.
So I got to ask you. So if I'm starting a new business today, let's say I'm going to launch a magic marker business, just
Yeah.
making it up, obviously, and I wanted to connect with somebody at Shopify to teach me all of this. Is there some kind of support system or an agent that I could access at Shopify? Because You are telling me so much that I don't know. And like your knowledge is literally worth probably billions of dollars, right? I mean, it's really incredible what you're offering. So, how could people take advantage of it
Well,
now that this has turned into a Shopify
yeah, I mean,
commercial?
well, first of all, you can email me directly, just jessica.williams@shopify.com. I will help anyone who emails me. But we have so
Uh,
many educational tools on our website. I mean, it is literally chock full of everything, plus communities there where literally day one entrepreneurs will go and ask questions to folks that have been in this business forever. We also have agents that are in that community platform helping people. Our YouTube library is chock full of how to get started. We have partner agencies that if you need someone to design the website, you'll get better rates coming from, an agency that we typically work with. Again, the Shopify ecosystem is so massive, and there have been so many businesses that are just built on how to grow a Shopify store. The resources are endless, but honestly, just go to shopify.com and they will all be linked there. And I promise you, it is much, much easier than you might think.
that's so encouraging. Really, really, congratulations. Incredible what you have built and your team
Not
has
me,
built.
certainly, like,
Well,
Toby and the rest of the crew. There are a ton of people at Shopify that have been here since day one. It's actually really fun to be there because there's so many amazing stories of, like, growing the business and growing it in Canada, which is, different. There's not a ton of massive, tech platform success stories in Canada, and Toby has really built something incredible, that's useful for people all over the world, but certainly, like, a massive Canadian success story.
so it seems like everybody can have an e-com platform now, and it seems like you're even unlocking all of this S-com. So with this, advent of tools and access to technology, I would imagine come new problems and new challenges. So here we are, still in the first quarter of 2025. Big shopping season is in the fourth quarter. What kinds of problems do you anticipate in the e-commerce realm? Uh, in the next, 2, 3 quarters, if any.
I I won't get into this, but obviously tariffs will have a big impact on
Tariffs.
tariffs, not our business, but certainly the businesses on Shopify, which in turn has an impact on our business. So the new administration and the tariffs will certainly, be something to watch for a lot of the businesses on Shopify because many of the products that they import or, you know, print on or whatever it may be come from some of the countries that are being tariffed, taxed at a quite a high rate. I think some of the other things is just like the technology is moving so fast. And I think when you're a small business owner, it's hard to keep up with that stuff. And so you just, finish getting your Instagram commerce connection done. And now there's millions to be made on TikTok shop. But how do I do that with just a 4-person team? And now I need to think about an AI shopping agent. And how do I do that with just a 4-person shopping team, and how do I do it with a chat bot, instead of a customer service team? So I think the technology is just moving incredibly fast, and that is really tough to keep up with. So again, it's something that we hope to take the pressure off of with a lot of the merchants on Shopify, and that we are keeping up with the technology so you don't necessarily have to. All of the plugins that, you can get through the Shopify App Store make it easier so that you don't have to do your own research. Like, we're not going to partner with a company that hasn't passed a million trust and safety thresholds. So you know that if you're using Attentive for your SMS, that we've vetted Attentive and that this is a company that we trust and you can trust.
That's great.
The TikTok shop integration, like, we're not going to integrate with a platform that isn't making sure that you're getting your shipments, that, isn't you making sure that you're getting your refunds. And so, our relationship with TikTok is so strong because so many of those TikTok shops plug right into Shopify. So there's a lot of things like that where we hope to make it easier. But I really do think that's the number one problem is that marketing is so hard now. It's not just SEO and it's not just, content on, your social channels. It is literally everything everywhere. And it's moving at a speed that I don't think we've seen before.
So what do you think brands need to do from a top line perspective if they wanna optimize sales? Where should they market? How do they do it?
I mean, I think social commerce is where everything is
I
going,
do
and
too.
that is the number one place that I would go to. Whether it's TikTok Shop or Instagram, it's really the number one discovery platform to help. I mean, certainly make sure your shop is on the Shop app as well, because we do a lot of discovery opportunities there, but, I mean, we've seen businesses 100x that are on Shopify because they did a live stream during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, with a couple of sales, and were able to, you know, just crush previous revenue projections. I
Wow.
really do think this move into live shopping is a massive one. Whether it's TikTok Shop or Whatnot is this amazing growing platform, where people can get rid of excess inventory through these live shopping opportunities. I think the other thing is that, we see this move from, content to commerce. I do think, while it's not for everyone, that making sure that you're thinking about whether it's outside influencers as part of your content strategy. I mean, every single person now, I think the data is at least up to like 75 or 80% of people in the US have taken an influencer's recommendation and bought a physical product.
Wow.
Whether it's micro influencers or, if you're a bigger business, macro ones, they're so important. And even as a merchant, to create content that is discoverable on your Instagram or on your TikTok, so that, people know who you are, they know your story, and they feel more comfortable purchasing.
So let's hang out on the S-commerce piece for a second.
Yeah.
Just let's break it down. Like my agency has a lot of high profile celebrities and they're always like, we want to launch something. And the other side, we have a lot of brands that manufacture product, but they don't have the high profile of the celebrity. So for example, we have one client who is a jewelry that is a jewelry company,
Yep.
but they really sell their jewelry as if it's a commodity. And they're asking us, connect us with a celebrity we want to sell. We're finding it to be cumbersome to build separate e-com sites for every celebrity. It still is, even with your features. It's cumbersome. It takes time. You got to get it perfect from a branding perspective, and it could be expensive. Then somebody wants to operate it. But some of these celebrities are coming with massive audiences on both TikTok and Instagram. So if we wanted to take that jewelry company and let's say launch one SKU on the S-commerce vertical, how best to do it? Is that possible? Is it easy to execute? What needs to be done now?
I mean, well, this question about like celebrities and creators and commerce is one I'm fascinated by, and I love, because I don't think every celebrity and creator needs to create their own product from scratch. I think there's so many opportunities now where we see celebrities coming on the cap table for businesses that they, are authentically connected to or feel passionate about, where they can 10x, that company because of their audience engagement, distribution, but they don't necessarily need it doesn't need to be the celebrity's business. It is, I think Archer Roos is a great example. It's a canned wine company. My friend Conley is the CMO. They partnered with, oh god, I'm gonna totally forget her name. Oh god, they partnered with a celebrity. I'm gonna remember her, Elizabeth Banks, where she didn't
Okay.
create the company, but she's the face of the company because she loves the wine and she thinks this is a great category to be in. And so, she invested in the business and now is part of the content strategy and is in all of the commercials and on the billboards. But it wasn't like her idea from the get go, and she didn't need to build that. So I do think there's a lot of different partner models that are happening now. I think there's a lot of amazing creator led businesses that are funded from companies like Whaler, who know the creator space better than anybody. And they're sort of pairing these business models with a creator who cares about this. Um, and so I think there's a bunch of different things happening, but I do think the celebrity creator owned businesses are the next billion-dollar brands for the same reasons I mentioned before. It's really hard to have discovery or distribution in today's world without a built-in audience. And so those who have a built-in audience are already much more in the driver's seat and likely to succeed because they have an audience that they can talk to without needing to spend so much in paid advertising. And most likely, if you care about the celebrity or this creator, you're going to want to try the product that they're pitching to you.
So just quickly talking, like if we isolate to TikTok for a second on the S-commerce piece
Yeah.
specifically, let's say we have Kim Kardashian and we want to launch a new espresso cup and we only want to launch it on Kim's TikTok channel.
Yeah.
What needs to happen? Like obviously the two entities come together, they cut a deal, but
Yeah.
then if Kim's live streaming, is there a button that can be pressed and then it goes back. It's powered by Shopify, and then obviously the company drop ships. Like, how does it work?
Well, TikTok has two options there. Yes, you can buy directly in the TikTok shop platform. TikTok is also building a commerce ecosystem so that TikTok has their own warehouses and they do drop shipping directly from there to try to speed up a lot of the shipping times that might take a long time, specifically for those who are shipping overseas. I mean, a lot of the products that they sell are like Temu like products, so they warehouse them locally. But yes, you can certainly as a business start day one just in TikTok shop. And many have. They have never had a commerce ecosystem outside of TikTok shop. For Shopify businesses that already exist, Tarte, Fenty, some of the other big ones, Pink Friday Nails, uh, any of these businesses that do in massive numbers on TikTok shop, they don't want a second e-commerce instance. And so they plug everything directly from their Shopify store. So they're shipping directly from the same inventory as their Shopify store. Returns were a nightmare if they had two instances. So anytime there's a return, it goes directly into the same process that we process their returns as. All of the customer data is centralized in one space versus having a TikTok shop customer base and a Shopify customer base. Obviously, on Shopify, you own your own customer from day one. You're not sharing the data with us at all. So many who are established businesses, they don't want this separate instance. There are plenty that are starting straight, like directly into TikTok Shop and having massive success. And we don't see that as a problem at all.
Is the product acquisition for the consumer then going? Am I going to a separate link and going back to the Shopify powered store, or am I just purchasing right
You
in
still
the
purchase right
tick?
into TikTok Shop. It's just linking back to Shopify.
Oh, that's
The
very
same
cool.
thing is like, yeah, in Instagram, obviously you're leaving and going, but there's also like an Instagram instance where you don't actually have to leave Instagram. You can purchase right in there, but that is a Shopify store inside of Instagram. The same thing, we have like a buy with Prime button on our ecosystem. You can buy with your Amazon balance like directly in Shopify. So all of these technologies really do work together. Some of them we see as frenemies. Others we have deep, very beneficial partnerships with. But it's all sort of like commerce has to all connect for the consumer's sake. Otherwise, it's a terrible experience for them, and that's not what we want.
Jessica, you're so knowledgeable. Like you're striking on all of these trends one after the other. You hit on like consumer customization, personalization, s-commerce.
Oh, thank you.
But we're also times are funny. Like you kind of hinted towards it because of the incoming tariffs. I think today, in fact, as we're recording this, is the first day. But it's a sign of the times. And
Yeah.
something that my office often looks at is pro-social marketing. We've always been cause related. We always like to give back, and we actually think it works to stimulate sales. Something that Shopify took the lead on early on was the idea of being eco-friendly and sustainability. They really embrace that. Do you think consumers still care about some of these pro-social initiatives? Are they motivated because a brand it cares about the environment or cares about other causes?
I think so. I mean, I think most people still care about the things that they care about and they want their dollars to go to those things. I do also think, there are enough folks who are socially conscious that, if their favorite brand is donating a portion of the proceeds to X, Y, and Z, like that's a reason to continue to buy from that brand versus to churn into somewhere else. Yes, Shopify is very focused on being carbon neutral, which I personally love. And really, a lot of the things that we think about are how to reduce our imprint in the world. And that includes like, how do we make returns more carbon friendly, i.e., how do we keep them from being shipped back and forth between merchant and consumer? Can we take a return and have a consumer ship it to the next consumer who's going to purchase that item, or really reduce those times? When we do hack days here, it's a lot of what the people who participate in hack days are thinking about is how do we even increase our carbon neutrality faster, and make our merchants more carbon neutral faster.
That's really
I love
cool.
it. Yeah, very cool. But I do think, I mean, a lot of our merchants, donate a portion of their proceeds to certain causes. Mad Happy is a great example. They donate a portion of their proceeds to mental health causes. Another one, a friend of mine, Siegelman Stable, donates a portion to equine therapy for pet, veterans with PTSD.
Oh, nice.
And they proudly talk about that all the time, and it's proudly on their website. So I must think that it impacts the consumer wanting to continue their purchase, especially if it's something that they care about.
It's so interesting. Like you really are at the center of the lifestyle brands with a nice balance between the up and coming emerging brands and these huge mega brands and some that have really grown. Look at Skims. I mean, such a quick trajectory. Of course, Kim is fueling it, but nonetheless, product is champion. If it wasn't great,
Well,
it
and they
wouldn't
just
hit this.
partnered with Nike, which,
I,
it's like Kim Kardashian can't do that on her own. That is, I mean, maybe she can, but like that is a Nike is looking for an innovation partner and someone who has built such a strong ecosystem within women where Nike's struggling. Like Skims is such an interesting case study to me. And I'm a Skims fan myself, just because I do think they're the best products on the market, but certainly such an interesting trajectory. With them going from a couple of SKUs now to hundreds and hundreds and partnering with Nike for a whole new line, not just like Skims on Nike, but a whole new brand called Nike Skims. It's wild.
yeah, I totally think it's cool. So, how do you balance then from Shopify's perspective? Where do you put your priority? Is it for the young entrepreneurs that are breaking into apparel, accessories, beauty, skincare, and beyond? Or are you looking at these bigger brands and saying, we need to lean in because that's where the volume is coming? That's where we're going to make a majority of Shopify's revenue.
Well, luckily, I don't have to prioritize because we have a separate enterprise marketing team that is really focused. I mean, that's such a different story to tell. And that is, it's a list of 100 businesses that we're focused on, or a very clear sort of mid-market business that, we want them to replatform off of eBay onto Shopify or onto Etsy. And those are like very clear messages that will speak to that specific business. And of course, the enterprise, they need very detailed information about conversion and, transition and merchant success and, like taxes and all of those things, which is an amazing team that we have, but not my team. So we are focused on not just day one entrepreneurs and small business owners, but like really focused on the next generation of entrepreneurs. Like we, target a lot of high school, college, folks who are thinking about what their next thing is, side hustles, like really wanting to want people to think about entrepreneurship as an option. And that really takes someone to encourage it, because I think most of the time, you think about the corporate world as being your only option, and like there's a second path that's available.
So, look, you're super creative also. And obviously, shopping for some people stinks, right? Like personally, I hate trying things on. I find it to be such a pain, such a waste of time. Even if it's sent to my home, I still don't want to take the time to try it on in private, truly. So, where do you think, creatively speaking, shopping is going? Like, what's the future of retail? Take me out now, like 5 years, 6 years from now, really, really putting your creative hat on. What are we gonna experience with retail in 2030?
Well, some of it I honestly think is being built right now. I mean, Shopify has a bunch of very cool, we call them like tech flexes or like mini apps within the shop app, that, are making shopping a little bit better. I.e., you can, with our app, if you're in a long line, let's say you're in line for the latest road drop from Haley, like you can order in your cart through the shop app based on what the inventory is in the store and then pick it up, while you're in line.
Cool.
We are making the ability to purchase directly off of a billboard, i.e., you see this amazing product off a billboard, you just scan within the billboard, you can, get it directly into the.
Is that available now?
Have done a few different tests with some brands, but yeah, the technology is available. We're just starting to roll it out. We've done a bunch of cool stuff with beauty brands on like scavenger hunts, like to make it a little more engaging. Now, this is obviously not for someone who doesn't love to shop, but we think shopping should be fun and should be an experience. And that's why we do a ton of pop-ups. We have a store in Soho and one in Venice where we allow the D2C brands on our platform to come and feel what it's like to pop up, in a real life store and make it a little experiential. So we've done it with hundreds of brands, and it's such a fun experience because you don't get to see the fans of your brand when you're a D2C brand, until you have a physical location. And then you can see how much people love you, how much they want to come out and meet the founder and experience what the brand is life in real life. So that is always fun to us. I think really, if I'm being honest, the biggest change is going to be like AI shopping agents and live shopping. I do think everyone will have their own AI shopping agent that knows what styles. You'll have a 3D model of yourself. It's going to be like your own personal shopping assistant, which I'm personally excited for. um, because I think right now you're doing a lot of like, will that look good on me? Is, I love buying
Right.
from new brands, but half the time the sizes that they have aren't really the size, I'm normally fitting in. So you do end up sending a lot back. So I think that's going to be the big one is like, 3D modeling and AI shopping agents. But I'm excited for what happens. I think shopping definitely can improve and is on the way to, and Shopify is definitely at the forefront of all of that.
So if you're going to provide a new business owner with advice on like just like one super tip on getting ready to launch an e-com platform with Shopify, what would you tell this person?
Um, I honestly would say like content is still king out there. Like you need more than just a typical SEO strategy. It is so important to have a content strategy on social. It is really the only way to make your business discoverable, to get into, the feeds of folks that you might not otherwise find out there in the world. And, to really hone in on building your content as you grow the business. And whether that again is with other content creators that you're paying, or if you yourself are becoming a content creator, which I know is hard while growing a business, but I think it's really the number one most important thing, because just we're on so many social channels all the time. Um, the businesses that we find are because of these social channels, and the platforms aren't going away. They're only growing in exponentially in their influence. And so I would say you got to grow your content strategy while you grow the business.
Digitally. It's really interesting. But you did mention brick and mortar.
I love order.
You love brick and mortar. It's kind of interesting. Like right here in New York City, a lot of the original DTC brands, Away, Warby Parker, like they've opened up in brick and mortar and they are jam packed. I went into Warby Parker over on Fifth Avenue downtown just this past weekend, and you have to wait online. You have to register to take an appointment. It's a
Yeah.
total different experience. So, my question to you is this. I end my show with my guests the same way. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I put together a leading question with the name of the show, Some Future Day, and I allow for them to finish it. Can you enter into this game with me?
Of course.
Awesome. Okay. So in some future day, because I'm thinking about your brick and mortar comments now. So in some future day, malls will become
Um, I honestly think not too far off, like malls will become a place for D2C brands to pop up and sort of test the waters. I think we'll see malls not with your standard Macy's or stores. It's really going to be like just a mishmash of stores that are coming in to pop up for a few weeks or a few months and then to go away, or even like stores within a store. I think Sephora will become the place that Nicki Minaj nails pops up for a few weeks. You go there, you get your nails, meet Nicki's nail designer. But it's Sephora, but it's Nicki Minaj nails for a few weeks. I really do think like these physical spaces will become just places for brands to cycle through, versus like having an always on brand experience there or a shop that isn't that experiential. I think what brands and consumers want is more experience when they shop. And so I do think um, pop-ups will become the new malls.
Jessica, you're so insightful. I appreciate all your time. Is there anything that you'd like to add? Did we miss anything important that you want to cover?
We didn't. This was so fun. It's always my funnest topics to talk about. And because we've known each other through few different roles now, it was fun to go back through history. But I appreciate you so much. This was amazing, and truly happy to go back anytime.
Likewise. We'll definitely have you back. Remember, you said that. I'm going to hold you to it.
Hold me to it.
I want to, you know what we should do? We should break down brands. Like, if you're open to it, you have such a good knowledge and perspective on brands across lifestyle, like so many different categories. I'd love to create a conversation with you, maybe leading into the fourth quarter, about what to look out for brands.
Oh, I love it. Another one of my favorite topics. I probably read every single fashion and trends report there is in existence. So you can count on me for all of that cultural knowledge for sure.
Jessica, thank you so much. You're an amazing guest. You're an amazing expert. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Some Future Day. I know your time is super valuable, so I hope you learned how you can leverage emerging technology to improve your life. And exciting news, my new book, Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything, is now available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and other major booksellers across the globe. I am so proud to share that because of your support, the book topped the charts. It became #1 bestseller in cryptocurrency, #1 bestseller in artificial intelligence, and #1 bestseller in robotics. So, if you're curious and ready to learn how AI can enhance your career, your community, and your family, get yourself a copy today.